I certainly like regulators for a lot of reasons. Like, I don't think that 13-year-olds should be like buying derivative stock options from synthetic like apparatuses built on chain. Like, that doesn't sound like a good idea. I don't think normal people should be doing it either, frankly. These are really hard decisions to make. And then we layer games on top of it where you're incentivized to take financial positions because of some like juicy graphics or some like leaderboard. We're doubling down on like, ruining the fabric of society here. So what you kind of need in the interim is regulators to at least warn people. But the whole point of decentralization is like they're powerless. Like, even if they want to do something, it's quite hard if you can truly decentralize. One of the things I like to mention, I don't know if this is too crass, but like sex used to be brokered, right? Like, priests would have to marry you to the person you were going to have sex with and sign off on the sex process. And at some point, we figured out that we could do peer-to-peer sex. We could just through like consensual mechanisms, kind of like, TCP/IP. I'm just like, do you want to have sex? Yes, I want to have sex. You sure you want to have sex? Yes. Double check. Okay, let's go have sex. We could figure out a new way of organizing society around a public like desire, like without intermediaries, right? And disintermediating sex was quite powerful. Because we got to have gay sex all of a sudden, which was like really fun, and no one got to do that for a long time, like above board. And what it took, though, unfortunately, was a lot of mistakes along the way. The sexual revolution had a lot of non-consensual sex, had a lot of dangerous STD-filled sex. And what you needed was like education in schools to teach people like how to have sex peer-to-peer. And right now, I feel like in DeFi and in Web3 games, we're at this dangerous like situation where no one knows how to be their own bank. No one knows how to make these financial transactions because we've relied on other people to guide us. And until we can get enough education, like, people are high risk of all kinds of terrible things on the way to like these great things we're going to give them.
That's got to be the headline of the show. I've never heard that analogy before, and you brought it in beautifully at the end.
Thanks.
I think the peer-to-peer sex thing is an interesting angle. So where I guess if I tried to steel man somebody, try and sort of chop that analogy down, it would probably be that this kind of financial infrastructure and the nature of it being sort of global and distributed means that the kind of social risk that it carries is much more significant, right? Which I think is one of the reasons why financial activity and all these types of kind of areas of important infrastructure, right, whether it's developing weapon systems or whatever it is that you're doing, are fairly tightly controlled.
Right. It's hard to fund, terrorists with peer-to-peer sex protocols. I agree. Like, it's much easier to do it with. But it's like hard to uphold like the Bible and this whole Christian identity or, whatever religious creed identity if you're allowing gay sex for some reason. So like, sex already tore down all the things it had to tear down. But yes, the risks are higher for sure. But at the same time, and this is the pushback to these terrorist financing claims, is that one man's terrorist is another man's revolutionary, right? That's the whole point of crypto, is that the worst case scenario isn't that we have some terrorism here and there. It's that we have a state that's so powerful that it can dictate what everybody does forever until the end of time because it owns the money and the media. And so if it can own basically our identities and decide for us what we do, we can never dispose of it. And so what DeFi is supposed to do is keep one tool in the bag of revolutionaries, at least, to fund themselves to overthrow the worst despotic governments that maybe we haven't even seen yet. But like, we don't want to see them, right? Because once you get to that end game state, there's no like removing it, right? Especially with the nature of the technology at the disposal of despots, like better surveillance, higher monetary policy controls, like, police forces and militaries is scary. So that's the sort of counter there.